So we know how people celebrated the Super Bowl, but how did the actual game go, Hunter?
Josie, the game certainly lived up to all of the hype that was built up during the 2-week lead-up. Yes, Super Bowl 56 pitted two teams with two different storylines, with the Rams becoming riverboat gamblers and going all in, and then the Bengals writing one unique Cinderella story. The game starts, and the Rams waste no time scoring on their two of their first three possessions to take a 10-point lead. Cincinnati would cut the lead to 3 before halftime, but on their first play of the second half, Joe Burrow finds T. Higgins for a 75-yard touchdown to take the lead. The Bengals hold the lead into the fourth quarter, but late in the game, Matthew Stafford leads the Rams down on a 14-play drive, ending with a Cooper Kupp touchdown to give the Rams the lead with 90 seconds left. The Bengals start the drive to tie the game, but Aaron Donald pressures Burrow, forcing an incomplete pass and giving the Rams their second Super Bowl title. Donald was asked after the game what the win meant to him, and he said, quote, "It means everything. This organization drafted me 8 years ago to have the opportunity to help bring this. Legacies are not built on individual stats, but on team success. The ultimate goal is to be a world champion, and to finally live this moment, it's hard to put into words right now." End quote. Certainly a special moment for Donald and the whole Rams organization. Now let's take a look at some hockey highlights as UNC played in the Big Mountain Conference playoffs over the weekend. The Bears take on 6th-seeded CSU in the first game of the playoffs, and you can't be sloppy, because this turnover leads to the Rams grabbing the early lead, and it will remain that way going into the second period. But that's when the Bears got physical. Look at this hit. Boom! And after a slew of penalties, Nick Sheridan comes in the zone and fires one home to get the Bears even. Later on, the Bears are on an extended power play, and here's Nick Sheridan finding open space again to give the Bears a 2-1 lead. The Bears nearly made it 3-1, but Kate Boring hits iron and misses an opportunity, because the Bears would sneak one in later, tie the game at 2, and set up a heart-pounding third period. But the Bears aren't fazed. They keep pushing, and midway through the third, Seth DiMarino feeds this pass into the net to give the Bears the lead. But it gets better as Nick Sheridan gets the breakaway, and he would snipe that home for the hat trick to extend the Bears' lead to 2. The Bears would get 2 more goals from DiMarino and Mitch Porter to finish off a 6-3 victory. And with that win, the Bears moved on to the semifinals against the second-ranked Metro State Roadrunners. After a scoreless first period, Metro broke through with this sneaky goal early in the second to take a 1-0 lead. Roadrunners would get a power play and take full advantage with this shot to expand their lead to 2. But the Bears pushed back with Toby Gleason finding a loose puck in front to make it 2-1. But then Metro creates a turnover, and he patiently waits on this backhander and makes it 3-1. But the back and forth doesn't stop there as Colby Schaefer finishes in front to cut the lead back to 1. And the fans were into it, but then the Roadrunners expand their lead back to 2 late in the second period. That would be the backbreaker. Metro added 2 more goals in the third to move on by the final score of 6-2. Certainly not how UNC wanted to end the season, but there's a lot to be proud of for the Bears. Now let's move on to some men's basketball highlights as they take on Southern Utah at the Bank of Colorado Arena. Early on, the Bears go to the 3-point line as Dalen Kuntz pulls up and makes that one. Did you really think he'd miss it? But then Bryce Kennedy comes off the bench and finds open space and makes that one. But then later on, Matt Johnson finds Kennedy again, and he swishes his second 3-pointer of the first half. Then, watch this inbounds play. Incoming! Dalton Knecht showing no mercy there. Later on, a UNC turnover leads to this rejection. Watch that! Oh my gosh, love the hustle. But UNC was still down 17 with 5 minutes left, but that's when Dalen Kuntz finds Matt Johnson for this 3-pointer. And then Dalen Kuntz finds himself in ISO, and he pulls up to hit his second 3-pointer of the second half. Bears down by 5. Kuntz in transition, and he goes hard and gets the and 1. UNC would cut the lead to 1, and then, watch this. They would get the steal, and Kuntz lays it in to give the Bears a 1-point lead. Southern Utah tried to take it back and regain the lead, but freshman Zach Block draws the offensive foul, and he makes that huge defensive stop to preserve the UNC win. And that would wrap up UNC's 4th consecutive win as they take it 100-95. The Bears' 17-point comeback is the second largest in program history. Also, the Bears outscored Southern Utah 32-10 in the final 5.5 minutes and now sit 4th in the Big Sky Conference. Better get down to the Bank of Colorado Arena, Bears. The next home game is Monday, February 21st against Idaho State with tip-off at 6 p.m. You don't want to miss it.
Sounds like the Bears are in for an exciting finish to the season then.
Absolutely. The Bears are playing well at the right time with the Big Sky Tournament coming up.
I'll have to catch that next one.